Hi guys, Bipolar Hot Mess again. This is part 2 of the interview questions you guys sent to me. The other video was getting a little long, so decided to break it up into 2. And like I ended the last video, I'm just wanted to remind you guys again that on Facebook, the Bipolar Hot Mess page, we do have 2 secret groups. One group is for bipolar disorder and any mental illness. It's basically just like a pretty general one. And the second one is exclusively for eating disorders. Eating disorders tend to be really private, and the people who deal with them tend to be really private about it. So I created a separate group for that. So if you'd like to be a member of either of the groups, send me a message on Facebook. And you then have to send me a friend request, and then I have to add you in. After I accept your friend request, I have to add you in, because the only way you can get in is by either me adding you in or someone who's already a member of that group. So by sending me the initial message, you'll tell me which group you want to be added into, and then when you friend request me, I'll know which group to push you in. So that's that. So if you're looking for more support, because that's not set up like my page is, where I'm doing all the posting and people are just commenting on that. This is the actual group members are posting an issue of theirs, and the rest of the group members are answering with, advice, support, whatever. So it's completely interactive with just the group members. I pop in there from time to time, but it's basically run by the group members themselves. So if you guys need some more support, that's something that I offer, or that my page offers. So the next question was, if you could meet anyone living or dead, who would it be and why? And I actually have I have 2 actually people, because one is I'd want to meet both of my grandfathers. They both of them passed away when my parents were teenagers, and so I never got a chance to meet them at all. And being older now, and just wanting to learn more about more illnesses and genetics and stuff, as it pertains to each side of my family, I would definitely want to, talk to my grandfathers and kind of see what, their side of the family had, just for, and, they were in the wars and stuff, and it'd be cool to talk to them and meet them. But the other person, and she's an author. She pretty much almost saved my life, I think. I was suffering really bad from, well, not as bad as her, I will admit, but I had eating disorders for quite some time. And in 1999, I was in college living in a dorm, and my RA handed me a book called Wasted by Maria Hornbacher. And she said, read this. This book is going to change your life and change the way you feel about your eating disorders and everything. And I was thinking, yeah, right, doubtful. But it was the winter in Chicago, and I was so cold, and I was so weak, because I had not been eating at all, and I hadn't been going to class. So I figured, why not read it? I've got nothing else to do, because I'm just laying in my bed and sleeping on and off, and I read that book. And in the book, about halfway through, she began her eating disorders when she was about, I think it was 6 or 7 years old. And when she was in her late teens, she got down to it was like 54 pounds. And they told her that she only had about a week to live. And the only way she would live was if they put a tube in her. Otherwise, she wasn't going to live, because she was going to continue just dropping the weight. And, I think she was close to 18 at the time. And, at 50 something pounds, it was, they're like, you're not going to live. And it was at that time she finally, and she had been hospitalized many other times, and she finally decided that she wanted to live. And she made that decision that she was going to live and she was going to fight back. And after I read that book, I was inspired. I was like, holy cow, at 54 pounds, she's given a week to live. After all the times that she was hospitalized before, because she was hospitalized many times, this time she decided that she was going to live, and she did. And she gained the weight back and, went on to write about it. And I'm like, if she can do it, so can I. If she can get over this, I can too. There's hope for me. And for the longest time, I didn't have the will or the desire to even want to get better. I was just like, no. It was, the illness was just, had overtaken me. So when she was at 54 pounds and they told her she was going to die, and they had told her a bunch of other times that, she could die because of all the bulimia and things like that, the things that she was doing to her body. And everything was so, her heart, heart problems and all kinds of stuff. They said, she could rupture, her esophagus and stuff. Just so many things could go wrong because she was so sick at all these other times and things, and points in her life. And she didn't really care. But finally, she said, yes, I care now. I do want to live. And, she got married, and I was like, oh my gosh, if she can live get married and live happily ever after, I can. Absolutely I can. And so I took that book and I read that book probably about 10 or 15 times. And in the rest of my college years and even after college. And in 2006, and I always said, after I read that book, I said, my God, if I could meet this woman one day, that I would just die. I have to meet her. She's one person in all this world that I'd want to meet. I didn't want to meet any actresses or anything like that. I wanted to meet her because I'm like, I have so many questions I want to ask her. She inspired me so much, and she probably saved my life, because I could have, I foresee that with the type of, mindset that I can get, and, when I am determined to do something, I feel that I would have gotten to that point as well, just because of the way my mind and everything worked, and especially at that time in my life. And then I went into the hospital and I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. And it was about it was 2008, so 2 years later. In 2008, I started, that's when I started working I didn't start working with it. I didn't start working with Ask Bipolar in 2008. But in 2008 is when I started to do a lot of research and trying to figure out, more about bipolar, because I'm like, here I am diagnosed with it. I might as well at least now try to comply and get stable and do something. And I noticed that she had written a book about bipolar disorder, and it was called Madness. And I was like, that is so weird. And it turned out that after the symptoms for her eating disorder subsided, they realized that some of the symptoms that they were attributing to her eating disorder were actually symptoms of her bipolar disorder. And nobody thought of it at the time because, I mean, she weighed 54 pounds. Everyone's, this girl has an eating disorder, that's it. And once my eating disorder was under control, that's when I started to have some of the symptoms. And so it was kind of like that book was like unfolding my life too again. And I'm like, holy cow, another book this year. It's almost like she's living my life. Like, it's so weird. And I was like, I have to meet this woman. I have to. And then in 2010, when I started working with Ask a Bipolar, I asked the founder, Mary Beth, I said, hey, have you read this book, Madness? Because it's really good. Like, I think you should read it, and I think we should try to get an interview with the author. And I was like headstrong that, you know what, I'm going to try to get an interview with her, and I don't care. I probably won't be able to, but this is one person I've always wanted to talk to in my entire life. I don't even care if I don't meet her. Interviewing her would be the opportunity of a lifetime. So on a whim, I sent her an email, and she emailed me back like right away, and I was like, I nearly fainted behind my computer. I was like, when I saw the email address, and the name sitting in my email box, I was like, oh my God, I couldn't breathe. I was like, I was going nuts. I was shaking. I'm like, holy cow, oh my God. I was so excited. And she agreed to the interview. And so Mary Beth and I interviewed her. We did it through email. And then she went on to say that she was guest lecturing at Northwestern University, which is in Chicago, which is where I live. And she said she was going to be doing a presentation and wanted to know if I wanted to meet her beforehand for coffee to talk or whatever. And I swear to God, my heart stopped beating for 2 or 3 minutes. It felt like it. It was probably it didn't even skip a beat at all, but I just felt like it, But I couldn't even speak. I was so just overwhelmed and oh my God, my dream is probably coming true. And what happened was she ended up getting laryngitis, and she wasn't able to do her presentation, so she wasn't able to meet me either. And so I was like, oh no, that sucks. I was so close to meeting her, and my gosh, I was so upset. But I mean, what can you do? And this year, I sent her another email. I wanted to incorporate her into my Mental Health Awareness Month posts. And I wanted to do an interview with her this time on the book Wasted, her first book on eating disorders. And she didn't get back to me until after the Mental Health Awareness Month. And she said that she apologized for not seeing it in time. She asked if she could still, if there's anything she could do to still help with the website. And I said, well, can I still do an interview with you on Madness or on Wasted? And I'm like, we've already done one on Madness. I'm like, but I also deal with eating disorders on my page. And she said, well, how about we get together and meet for coffee? And I was like, you're in Chicago? And it turns out she just moved to Chicago. And so I've been trying to set up a time to meet with her, but all kinds of issues with my back, and then she had some scheduling conflicts. So back and forth we've been going. And so we still haven't met with her, but I'm still trying. And she is the one person, dead or alive, that I would want to meet. And I'm going to. It's just a matter of when, but it's because she's been just a true inspiration, because she's overcome so much. If you read her books, she's also written a third book called Sane, which is it's a book about the 12-step program, but I have not had to go through the 12-step program, but I guess the 12-step program as it's laid out, it's not really tailored for someone who has a mental illness as well. And so what she does is, in her book Sane, she takes the 12-step program and she kind of tailors it to someone with a mental illness, so that the 12-step program is works with their life and with their issues. So I started reading it, and it's an excellent book so far. But so I highly recommend it. It's called Sane by Maria Hornbacher, and yeah, that's my one person. But I am gonna meet her, so I can't wait. I'm gonna be so excited. Anyway, the next question. Will you make it back to the top? Yes. I absolutely will make it back to the top. I'm determined. I've done it every other time, and I will do it. It may take a lot longer than I anticipated and or than it has in the past, but I will do it because I don't give up. I'm not a quitter. I'm not about to start quitting. I mean, except for smoking. I quit smoking. But I mean, there's so much to do in life that I can't, I can't just, like, throw it all away, you know? I want to experience it all, and the thing is we all can. We just have to take the illness by its reins and learn how to manipulate it and not let it manipulate us. And we need to be the one in control and not them. By them I mean the illness. Like, we can't, which is why we need to sit down and, write down, when we notice our moods going down, what we think caused it, or, what happens while we're in a bad mood, whatever. Anything that we need to do to kind of monitor and keep track, and things that we can compare it to, and try to find what is it that triggered it, what are our triggers, and learn how to deal with the triggers, because we can all make it to the top. Every single one of us can make it to the top, and I truly believe that. And everyone that makes it to the top, when you make it to the top, glitter sign for everyone. For anyone and everyone who makes it to the top, glitter sign. That's my little piece of inspiration for you guys. Just glitter signs. But yes, I will make it to the top, and so will you. It doesn't matter how long it takes. It'll happen. What meds are you on right now, and are they working for you? Well, they kind of appear to be working for the most part. I'm on Vyvanse for my ADD and, my concentration and focus and all of that good stuff. I'm on lithium as my mood stabilizer. 900 milligrams is what I've been on for since 2006, I think, is when before 2006, I tried Depakote for a little bit, and it didn't work as well as the lithium did. So I'm at lithium 900 milligrams, and if it's not working to stabilize my moods, and I start like ultra rapid cycling, because that's happened in the past, my doctor we've tried going up on it, and I don't respond well to it, so he'll either give me a really low dose of Lamictal, and after about a week it slows down the cycles, and so then I go right off of it. So we just throw that in there. But we've also tried Risperdal combined with the lithium to stop the cycling, and the Risperdal made me sleep for like 16 hours, and it was just like the Lamictal made me completely flat. Like I didn't have any affect at all, but I was awake and I could still, go through the day. Risperdal, I was so drowsy. I felt like I had just downed like 3 bottles of NyQuil or something. So Risperdal didn't really work so well. But the Lamictal will help me stop rapid cycling if I need to supplement it. I'm on Cymbalta, and he chose Cymbalta because that's probably one of the only other antidepressants I haven't been on, and he thought that would also help with some of my back pain, which it doesn't. But it was, it was just a thought. But that seems to be working pretty well. I'm also on Klonopin for my anxiety, and I take trazodone at night for my sleep, and that works really well. I used to get up I tried Ambien CR, all that stuff. I used to have all those hallucinations, like I'd be walking around in the night and doing random things, and not like I'd wake up like on another floor of our townhome and be like, what the hell happened? So I went off of all of those. And otherwise I wasn't taking anything for sleep. I was just using my Klonopin. I would take it at bedtime, but I was waking up like every hour to either use the bathroom or to just wake up, and I would just lay there, and it would take forever to get back to sleep again. So the trazodone keeps me asleep the whole night. I'll wake up maybe once, twice max to use the bathroom, but that's it. Like I don't wake up anymore and just, and like not fall back to sleep. Once I'm out. So that's, that's like really awesome for me, and that helps your moods too, is getting, that adequate and appropriate amount of sleep, and uninterrupted sleep, so that, the sleep that you're getting is actual restful sleep, because the sleep I was getting was not restful at all, because I was tossing and turning and waking up and all that, like, so I may have been like laying in bed for 8 hours, but I wasn't fully sleeping. It wasn't quality sleep, and that's important. So I take the trazodone, and then lithium, and then I'm on the meds for my back and stuff, but those don't really apply. What made you decide to start the page on Facebook? Basically, I started off the page, and it was, I started off a long time ago, and it was just a blog page, and it was named something completely different, and it was basically my online diary, and I was just venting, and, I used to get mad at it was my ex-husband now, but, at the time he was still my boyfriend, so when I had to get mad at him, I'd lash out and type out big old nasty Instagram post and post it up there and let it, be so passive aggressive, so then he'd read it there, but so would all of his friends and everything, and then after a little while of that, I was hospitalized, diagnosed, and I wanted the page to be more about like just my adventures, like, and things that happened to me, because some funny stuff happened, a lot of funny stuff happened, but I didn't want to do the whole like rag on him anymore. Like I was done with that, and so I started doing that, and my friends were following it, but then right around the time I got to I left my husband, I was like, I want to do something completely different with this. I want to target, because I'd been working with Ask a Bipolar, and their site is very, very specific on the types of things that they do, and I said I want to broaden it for my own site, and I'll leave the asking question type thing, like, format to them. But for me, I want to post, like, funny graphics, and I want to, post, like, all kinds of music, just regular music, like where, and I'm just going to be myself and put my personality out there and not have it so structured. And I want to help other people who have bipolar disorder, and I want to relate to them, and I want them to know they're not alone. But I also want to give them, some funny things. I want to boost their mood. I want to, when they're feeling down, I want them to be able to come to my page and find something funny, or hear a funny story that happened to me, because ridiculous crap happens to me all the time. And everything that I've had so many people ask me, can I write a book about your life? And I'm like, no, I'm gonna write the book. No, I'm just kidding. But I mean, they're all like, I can't believe these things have actually happened to you when I tell them the stories. And so I'm like, well, I'll write a couple of these stories of things that happened to me in my life, and daily things, and hopefully that will help some people laugh a little bit and cheer them up. And that's what I want for my site. I want it to be tailored for those who have bipolar disorder or other mental illnesses, because I want them to know that I'm just like them, and look at the stuff that happens to me. So if funny stuff is happening to you too, like it's cool, like you're just like me, and that's when I changed the name to the Bipolar Hot Mess. And it started off, for the longest time, only like 100 or 200 of my friends, and then people from Ask a Bipolar that knew me that were following. And then I don't know what happened, but suddenly, overnight, I went from like 200 people to like 1,000 people. So some like major page had to have shared me, and I don't know who it was. I wish I did, because I love to thank them, because I went from 200 to like 1,000 overnight, and then from that point on, it just kept growing and growing and growing and growing, and now we're at almost 7,500 people, and it's amazing, and I'm so excited about it, because my goal was to be able to help, put smiles on people's faces, and give people, information about the illness, so they could get some, they'd get some educating things from it. But I wanted to do it, and I wanted to be fun with it. I didn't want it to be so serious. I didn't want it to be like another NAMI page, or, where it's very, businessy and, very professionally done. No, like, we are not, like, no. I think that I learn from people who are more, like, just outgoing and just fun than, some professional doctor that's just sitting there talking about something like that. No, I want fun. I want, I can still be fun and still, and have a mental illness, but still work in, the first year that I had my blog, I was working in, in a top Chicago law firm. I can still be fun and, and goofy and stuff, and still have a full-time job and still have bipolar disorder. So I wanted people to see that you don't have to be completely serious all the time. And when you're joking and laughing and having fun, that doesn't mean, that you can't be serious either, and that's how you always are. Like, you can be just like any other person and still have bipolar disorder. So many people have met me and have been like, I never would have guessed that you had bipolar disorder. When some of my colleagues found out, they were like, you have bipolar? I never, ever would have ever guessed that. We can function, and I wanted everybody who came to my page to know that we can function. We can, we can be just like every other person. We could still have fun. We could still learn about our illness. We can still, be who we are. And, I just wanted to give people inspiration, and let them know that they're not alone, and, they don't have to be sad. We can give them a few laughs. We can make them happy. Or if you are sad and you are and you are in a down spot in your life, there have been so many of us have been in that same exact position. So, we understand. We've been there. We get it. Like, I get it. I've been there too. And I'm still there. I'm still trying to climb back up. And that's why I also wanted to document, my journey back up, because it's like, hey, here I was, yesterday I was working at a top 10 law firm, and then all of a sudden, boom, I am now on the disability list, and, and then a couple months later, well, now I'm on the freaking unemployed list. Well, let's see how we do. Oh, now I'm divorced. Okay, well, I'm 32, I'm divorced, unemployed, career has turned to shit. What am I going to do? So, I mean, we all have fallen down, and I just want to show everyone that, we all have our ups and downs, and, but we'll pull through it. We can. If I can, anyone can. Come on. So that's why I'm like, I started it because I wanted to really just reach out to others in a way that they would relate to, and just keep inspiring them and letting them know that they're not alone, that we've all been there, and to give them a place where they know that the people that are on the page are in the same or similar positions, or have friends, loved ones, whatever, but the people who are on the page are all people who can relate to them as well. And that is something that I wanted to take from what I had learned with Ask a Bipolar, was I liked being able to be in a place where it was a group of people that knew what I was going through, and that's what I wanted my page to be too, which is why I called it the Bipolar Hot Mess, because I wanted it to attract people who have mental illnesses and wanted to find a place that that had other people just like them, because together everyone can cheer each other on, and it's just the way I see it. I always call it the Hot Mess family, and it's true, because I want everyone on the page to think that they're an equal with everybody else. We're all the same. I may be the leader, but we're all the same, and I wanted everyone to see that and know that, and so I just wanted to do some good, and I like to write and ramble, so now I have an audience. So, but I mean, I'm in the same position as all of you guys, so I really do hope that you can see that I do really relate to you, and I don't just say, oh, I relate to you, that I really do relate to you guys, because I do, because I've gone through my ups and downs. I'm still going through them, and I'm still trying to go back up. So, I mean, I do really, honestly, truly relate to you, and I'm not, just some, I'm not just, like, I don't know, like, I'm not one of those that, isn't really affected by this and just kind of, says that I am just to, gain more people or followers or whatever. No, like, I really do relate to you guys, and I really hope that you guys know that, everybody else on the site does too, and like, when I see other people like conversing with each other on the, in the comment section, that makes me so happy, because I'm like, oh my God, look, like, see, they're right there. People are relating to somebody else, and someone's not feeling so alone anymore. And so that makes me happy that I can bring people together, even if it's just for that one comment thread. I'm bringing someone together to show them that they're not alone. So, if I could change anything with or on you, what would you change? I would change my version or my vision of realistic, of what's realistic. I mean, I make thousands of to-do lists with so many things on it, and I expect that, that I'm going to get all of those done and everything done, and then I get so mad at myself when I don't. And I come up with all these awesome ideas for all these things I want to do on like the website, or designs, or things I want to do, or whatever, and I just keep making all these lists and all these things, and I just perpetually just keep setting myself up for failure because I don't finish the entire list. And no matter how many times everyone's like, well, split up the list, make the list smaller, I can't, because I'm like, no, like I need to, there's all these things I need to be doing, like there's all these books I need to read, there's so much to be done. And I mean, I have books and books and books galore on every single topic imaginable, and everything. There's just so much that needs to be done, and I don't have any time. I literally feel like Jessie Spano on Saved by the Bell when she's like, there's never any time. That's what I feel like. And so I really, really need to like work on changing my view of what is realistic to accomplish in a day. And, Miss Boyfriend will come home and be like, oh my God, you got so much accomplished today. And I'll be like, what? I got like 2 things accomplished. That's not look at my list. Look, I have all these on the list and I only got 2 things done. I got nothing done. And he's like, do you realize how much work that was to get those 2 things done? Like, and I don't see it, because all I see is this list with 80 things that weren't done, and I mean, that's something that's common with people who have bipolar, like, always have, like, tons and tons and tons of things to do, and, to be unrealistic with expectations and all that stuff. But I want to work hard to learn how to be more reasonable and realistic and manageable with the goals that I set for myself, because otherwise every time I've set myself up for failure. So that's what I would change if I could, and I'm going to work on it. So when I change it and it's officially changed, I'll let you guys know. So you guys remind me when I start like giving you like lists of things that I'm working on and I'm doing. You guys put me in check and be like, wait a minute, that's not realistic, okay? So I'm holding you guys to that. Do you have any other disorders or illnesses? I was formerly anorexic and bulimic. I pretty much have those under control. However, there are times that creeps back up a little bit, when I get like, medicine weight gain, and especially right now I'm having a really, really hard time with the weight I've put on from my meds. I mean, I'm pretty much stable with that. I have anxiety and substance abuse. I have some PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, and then bipolar too. And then I think that's it. My concentration issues is not really so much ADD as it is part of, my doctor kind of lumps it in with my bipolar, because I have like the huge depression parts, my inability to focus, and then because of some of the post-traumatic stress stuff. So I don't have ADD, but I take the medication for it because, those other things cause me to not be able to concentrate and focus and whatnot. So that's my list. And then the last question is, do you throw things when you're in a mood? I used to. Before I was diagnosed, when I would get in a mood, because I didn't know what the moods were or anything. I just thought it was, the alcohol not mixing well with something, or I was just a mean drunk, and I would throw things all the time. Now, if I throw things, it'll be where I'm in my room and I'm throwing like pillows at the wall or something like that. I won't throw anything hard. I won't throw anything at people, or anything like that. But I'll throw like pillows, or I'll throw shoes, like my shoes, like my flip-flops or something, like at the wall, when I get mad. I'll lay on my bed and I'll just hands and fists pounding my bed, and yelling into a pillow, if I'm angry. But I had to work on a lot of anger management, or ways to handle my anger. And that's when I started to do the DBT stuff. And that's when I did the videos and all that, because I was working through that book, because that was something my doctor suggested I learn how to do. So I was working through the book and learned a couple things through there. Even prior to that, I had stopped throwing things at people, and I was trying to control my anger more. And I did a lot of it through just typing and writing things, and then if I had typed it, it's something I wouldn't publish. I just keep it as a draft. If I wrote it out, it's still sitting in my journal somewhere. But I started doing that instead of lashing out physically with things I was doing. I was lashing it out mentally and through my writing. So that's how I kind of curtailed that a little bit. But then I started working with the DBT and started reading up on meditation and things like that, because that's kind of meditation and mindfulness kind of go together a little bit. So that's one way I worked on that. But anyway, okay, so this was another long video, but anyway, if you guys have any more questions, you can send me just send them to me, and I'll either answer them directly to you, or I'll put together another video. And I promise the other ones will be shorter. I promise. Or I'll try. I'll try to make them shorter. But, okay. Well, I hope you guys got to learn a little bit more about me, and I'm so glad to have you all on my page, and thank you so much for supporting me and and everything in my journeys. And I just hope that my page and everybody on it, that they're helping you just as well, and that you are all taking something away from my page, even if it's just that you had a laugh from something posted on my page that day. I hope that at least every now and then you take a little piece of something that's helpful to you. So anyway, I will talk to you guys later.